Welcome to the Mixology Talk podcast, where we serve up answers for your cocktail questions, interview top industry professionals, and keep you up to date with what's going on in the world of craft cocktails.
Holy cow, here we are for the 12th episode of the Mixology Talk podcast. I'm Julia.
And I'm Chris, and today we're going to be talking about something that's really near and dear to my heart, and that is cocktail books. So if any of you have geeked out enough on cocktails, mixology, or even the history of cocktails, you'll most certainly have spent a lot of time with your nose in a book.
And Chris is no exception. I am amazed at how much the cocktail community still uses and relies upon some truly ancient books. Some of them even going back all the way to the 19th century. Yeah,
it's actually pretty fascinating to be able to look back at these old books and see kind of the evolution of the modern cocktail and how it's came to be. So for today, I'm not going to really recommend a lot of those classics, but if you are interested in checking them out, we do have a link for 25 of these classic cocktail books on our website, and we'll provide them in the show notes at mixologytalk.com/12.
So what books would be a good place to start for someone who's interested in cocktails but doesn't want to go too crazy?
So I'm going to offer up a kind of a wide spectrum with 3 of my favorite cocktail books, and you'll see why I mean by kind of a wide spectrum. So one of my favorite cocktail books of all time is The Joy of Mixology by Regan or Gary Regan. Now, the reason that I love this cocktail book is that it has a lot of good stories. It outlines kind of this simple yet really powerful idea that you don't need to memorize 1,000 different cocktail recipes if you kind of understand that certain cocktails have a lot in common with each other. So, for example, the margarita, the daiquiri, the lemon drop are all basic variations upon the same kind of recipe or the formula. And you're just changing out the sweetener, the acid, and the base spirit, and that's pretty much it.
It sounds like, I mean, the thing about this book is it's not just a book of recipes. I think you can find a whole lot of those, and they can be great too. But the beauty of this book is that it's more about understanding the foundational concepts of cocktails, which you can then leverage in an infinite number of recipes.
Yeah, and it does a really good, it has a really good balance about teaching you a little bit about the history. It has some cocktail recipes. And Gary Regan is also, got some great personal stories that he adds into the book as well. It's a really fun read, and it's a great place to start your collection.
Yeah, and another thing just to mention is Gaz Regan is one of the folks who's often accredited with really bringing back the craft cocktail movement. So I think he's a good person to ask, frankly.
No, absolutely. And this book in particular was one of the main reasons that the craft cocktails has evolved as quick as it has.
Mm-hmm. And I would contend it's probably one of the reasons the word mixology has really started to catch on again.
Yeah, I would definitely say that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the next cocktail book that I have for my recommendation is kind of a stretch. It's not really a cocktail book.
You're totally cheating on this one.
I'm totally cheating, but it's Evan Goldstein's Perfect Pairing. Now, this book is actually written by a master sommelier, and it does an amazing job kind of breaking down wine and food pairings and kind of understanding the core concepts of it. And it goes even a step further by offering some fantastic food recipes and the perfect wine pairings. So it's really a fun book, and this is actually something that I've used in the past to win over Julia.
Uh-oh, I didn't know that.
I know, and it works, evidently.
Danger.
But there's some great food recipes in there, and he outlines 3 different tiers of wines in there. So something that's reasonable, something that's, fairly pricey, $20, $30 range for a bottle, and something a little bit on the higher end, up to about $70, $80. So he does a really good job of offering different spectrum of wines for each pairing as well.
And I think while I joke about Chris cheating about including this book, I do think it's actually really important to understand the concept of pairing. Because, how often bartenders are almost in a unique scenario where they are serving drinks that aren't going to get paired with anything. But I think in real life, you're probably going to have your cocktail with a meal. You're going to have it with friends, with hors d'oeuvres or something. You're probably going to have food around. And if you're going to be making cocktails, you're going to want to have at least some sense of how they're going to work with the food that you're serving.
Right. And this is one of those first books that I go to whenever somebody asks me if I'm interested in doing a food and cocktail pairing, just because the core concepts of it are really, really powerful for me. And it really enables me to understand kind of why certain food and certain wine goes together, and kind of adapt that into a cocktail formula.
And again, it's core concepts. It's about the sort of foundational idea of pairing flavors. And so it's not limited to wine. While it's definitely teaches you a lot about pairing wine, I know that if I'm not mistaken, it was a lot of your wine background, Chris, that helped you with the cocktail pairing dinners that you've done in the past.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be as successful in a food and wine pairing if I didn't have that kind of core knowledge of how food and wine kind of interact together and they kind of play into each other. So, it's really a big thing for me to be able to do, just to have that knowledge.
Plus, wine is tasty.
It's so delicious. I love it. So whenever you're not having a cocktail, why not have a glass of wine instead? So the last book that I recommend is kind of a really great book just to kind of have around. And it does a lot of really great things. So the book is Food and Wine's yearly publication of cocktails. And it's simply called Cocktails and then the year numbers. So Cocktails 2013, you get the idea. Now, the thing I love about this cocktail book is that since it is a yearly publication, it stays really, really current on the trends that we're seeing in kind of the cocktail business.
How is it in terms of, what's the right word, complicatedness?
They do a pretty good job about balancing, with any style of cocktail, like, this is some pretty high-end cocktails. You're going to probably have to make a couple of your own ingredients, like simple syrups or something like that. But they do a really good job of kind of making it approachable and, even, fun and something special that you can do at home. So they do a great job on that.
So it's still approachable. That's great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And
now, is it a magazine or is it a book?
It is a yearly publication. It's a book. I think it's about $20 every year.
When does it come out? Do you
15.
know?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't think the 2014 book has come out yet.
We'll take a look. We'll definitely take a look for that and put it in the show notes for you.
Yeah, it really is a fantastic cocktail book.
I've definitely seen several of them on our bookshelf.
Yes. And once again, one of the other really cool things about this cocktail book is that it breaks down all the cocktail recipes by base spirit. So, you can really hone in, and if you like a chapter on gin, you can slowly work your way through it, or quickly, whatever the case may be. And it also offers up kind of non-alcoholic cocktails and food recipes in the end as well.
Oh, wow.
So it's a kind of an all-inclusive cocktail book, and, really, really beautiful pictures, and it's just a really great cocktail.
And it's nice to stay current as well. I mean, I think when you look at most publications, they are a moment in time. And most authors are certainly not going to be updating their book every single year. So it's nice to be able to stay on top of what's current.
Yeah, and I will say, like, Gary Regan's or Gaz Regan's book, Joy of Mixology, is a bit dated, but the core concepts in there and even the cocktail recipes, are fairly timeless.
When did that come out?
I want to say that came out in maybe the 90s.
Oh, wow.
Early 90s.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's an older book.
But still, again, since it's about core concepts and sort of the foundation, then these things are timeless, too.
Right, absolutely. So, those are my 3 recommendations.
Though I think that just about covers it. And I have to warn you, if you check out these 3 books, one of 2 things is going to happen. Either you're going to learn a lot about cocktails, a lot about food pairing, you're going to take in the information and go make some great drinks, or you're going to get addicted to cocktail books and spend all your money.
Yeah, be careful. Friends don't let friends buy too many cocktail books. Actually, they buy them for them.
Oh, wait a minute. Don't send Chris cocktail books or bar spoons. We've covered this.
So to find a summary of our episode, go ahead and check out our website, mixologytalk.com/11. Or, I'm sorry,
12.
The number 12. It's going so quick, I'm having a hard time keeping track.
Well, the number 11 is fun, too. That's just a different episode.
Right.
So next week, we're actually going to be talking about the number 1 thing that we get asked about when we tell people that we have a cocktail blog. Here's a hint. It's related to food.
So join us again next week and to see what we're going to be talking about. So for the show notes for the show and the link for those 25 free classic cocktail books and a list of several other more books I recommend, head on over to our website, mixologytalk.com/11. But until then...
You said it again.
I know.
12.
Oh, it's 12. I'm sorry. So number 12. But until then, have a great one, everyone, and cheers.
Cheers. Never miss an episode by subscribing in iTunes or YouTube. And as always, check out the show notes by clicking on the right.